I just came across this news story doing my research that I like to do daily, looking into my business news for investments and to understand what's going on in the business community and technology. And this is exactly the type of stuff that we were talking about, that a lot of people were talking about. I mean, I hate to take it to this, but I told you so, we told you so. And now, if you don't have your information, that's on you. But there were people who were trying to sound the alarm, and there's people who didn't want to listen, okay? So it is what it is. Now, I came across this story. It was this Japanese company, Foxconn. They used to go by the name of Hanhai. And in the state of Wisconsin, they were saying that they were going to open up this plant that was going to produce LCD, liquid crystal display screens, large screens for personal and for professional use out of this factory. And they were going to open up a factory in Wisconsin. I think they said it was going to be like 20,000 square feet facility or something like that. Now, the company promised that it was going to produce about 13,000 jobs over the next number of years, and that a lot of these jobs are primarily going to be blue-collar manufacturing jobs. And the governor of the state of Wisconsin at the time, now this was in 2017 when this all went down, so the governor of the state of Wisconsin at the time, Scott Walker, and 45, and probably the Republicans in Wisconsin, you know, they all got the deal together. They gave this company a $4 billion, with a B, $4 billion tax break for this company. Now, I'm a believer of MMT. I'm not going to make this an MMT video, but MMT applies at the national level because they are the monopolizer of creating currency. But at the state level and at the local level, unless you're just going to get a whole bunch of federal government bailouts and underneath Republicans or Democrats, I don't think that's going to be happening across the board, even with an infrastructure deal. But at the state level, you have to balance your budgets or at least have reasonable debt that you could pay off. So this isn't like the federal level, okay? You can't just spend money and print money. States can't print money. They have to collect revenues that can pay for the expenses, and they have to have some kind of a pretty close to equilibrium when it comes to revenue and expenditures. So this is $4 billion that the taxpayers of Wisconsin flipped the bill for this Japanese company on a promise that they were going to get these jobs. Now, this Japanese company is flipping the script. And they're saying, well, we don't think, well, first they were saying, well, we don't think we're going to be able to make large screens. We're only going to make smaller screens. Then they said, well, this isn't going to be a factory or a plant making screens. We're going to do R&D. We're going to do research and development. You know, we're going to do a lot of experimenting on new products and product design and product development. And that the jobs for this plant will not be so much blue-collar manufacturing, machining type of a jobs, assembly line type of a stuff, that the jobs for this plant are going to be more skilled labor, creative, innovative labor, tech jobs, industrial design, things like that. Okay? And they were talking about how competing in the world when it comes to making these types of consumer products and electronics, that in the United States, even with tax cuts and even with tax breaks, that you simply can't compete with the Asian market. You can't compete with China. You can't compete with Taiwan. You can't compete in Japan when it comes to making these products, because it would be just simply too expensive to try to have profitability. That it's better to make the parts overseas in Asia, ship the parts over to Mexico for the final point of assembly, and then once they've all been put together in Mexico, especially with probably even with the new the new NAFTA deal, or USMCA, whatever you want to call it, even with the new North America trade deal, that since the final assembly point would be in a factory in Mexico, not the United States, not Wisconsin, it'll be easier just to ship this stuff over into the United States, Asia first, then Mexico, then into the US. And for those of us who understand business and supply chain and economics and technology and how the world works, you know, all of these fiscal and monetary and budgetary and economic and technological aspects, for those of us who have this information, for those of us who know better, this is exactly what we were trying to tell these people. Okay, I didn't know about this. I heard about some of these other companies like the Carrier and all that other kind of stuff. And even the Carrier deal is not necessarily what people think. So if you want to find out about that, go look up, because I'm not going to really get into that on this video. Go look at the Carrier deal. Okay, now this is what we're trying to tell these people. And these people, not knowing any better, not having the information, putting all their hopes and dreams in these politicians, you know, they got a bad deal and they gave tax money to a Japanese company, and you're not going to get any jobs. You're not going to get anything. I was reading an article. It was talking about how they were promising like 13,000 jobs. And right now, they don't even know if they're going to get to 5,200 jobs. And so far, they're saying, well, by 2020, we might get to about maybe like 1,000 jobs. So they were running the numbers, and they're saying, based upon the current hiring practices that they're doing with this facility, because they've slowed down their hiring, that it's going to take the state of Wisconsin maybe up to 25 years to recoup the money in tax dollars that they gave to this company, and they're not going to get the benefit. You're not going to get the jobs. You're not going to get the tax base. You're not going to get the investment that you were promised. And these politicians, these corporations, this unholy alliance you have with big government and big business getting in bed with each other, the corporatism of America, the American oligarchy. This is the American classical fascism. And if you understand what classical fascism is from an economic standpoint, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, go look it up. Okay? I'm not going to get into that on this video. But this is exactly what we're trying to tell these people about. And these people vote for broken dreams and broken promises and basically against their own interests. And these politicians make all these promises and you don't get the benefit. Now, like I say, I didn't know about this story at the time. But if I would have known about this, and if I would have known that this company was talking about building large LCD screens. I mean, LCD screens is obsolete, you know, as far as what's coming off of the shelves and what the consumer wants to buy as far as the latest product. Okay. I mean, plasmas, LCDs, all that stuff is in the past. It either needs to be an LED or some type of an augmented LED. You know, they're making all of these different versions of LEDs, the QLEDs and all this other kind of stuff. They're onto that stuff. And maybe potentially the next thing that's going to come after LED is maybe some type of, you know, some kind of maybe projection, like holographic projection type of display that maybe would be interactive, or some type of maybe virtual reality, augmented reality type of a thing. Right now, I'm not too crazy about the way these virtual reality visors and augmented reality visors look, but maybe on like a larger screen type of a thing, or something that could be used at say like an arcade venue or different entertainment venues like that, practicing golf type of stuff. You know, that's maybe going to be the next step when it comes to displays. So man, don't be fooled. You can't fall for this stuff. That's why he went out there in Nevada and he says, I love the poorly educated. If you don't have your facts, if you don't have your information, you're going to be fooled every single time. Like the song goes, we won't get fooled again. And look, it's bad it happened, but I don't have any sympathy for these people being gullible and foolish and naive and ill-prepared and uneducated about the facts. You put all your hopes and your dreams and desires in these politicians and these corporations, and they screw you every single time, and you let it happen to you.